What is going on, everybody? Hitmonchan here, back again with another Pokemon trading card game tabletop deck profile. Today, I have an in real life deck of Pikachu EX. This is my latest version of the deck, my latest and greatest, and it's coming out in the Surging Spark set that's not too far away right now, just about a month away, maybe a little bit less. And Pikachu EX is the main hype card from this set. It's got the Tenacious Heart ability, which is absolutely busted because if you're going to be attacked and you have full HP, you're not knocked out. Instead, you're left with 10 remaining. So a Dragapult EX, for example, that would be hitting perfect math on Pikachu's 200 will actually leave it with with 10 HP. It'll only do 190 damage to it. So that ability is very, very strong. And Pikachu's Topaz Bolt attack is even stronger for a Grass, Lightning, and a Metal. You're going to be doing a whopping 300 damage. You discard 3 energy from this Pokemon. Now you may ask yourself, well, that seems like a steep cost for this attack. Well, we're playing 3 Pikachu in this deck as the main attacker, so we're definitely going to have a way to power this Pikachu up, and that is going to be with the new Magneton. We're rocking a 2-2 line of the new Magneton in here, which has the Overvolt Discharge ability, which lets you knock itself out, then attach 3 basic energies from your discard pile to your Lightning Pokemon in any way you like. So then Magneton is going to allow you to power up a Pikachu in a single turn at the cost of giving up a prize card, which isn't the end of the world. And I'll explain why later. We're rocking 2 of those Magnetons, but surprise, we have another EX attacker, and that's Magnezone EX. Magnezone is really, really cool in this deck because it's got 330 HP. It's a big boy. It evolves, from Magneton, so you can use it. And it has really low energy attack costs. That's kind of why we're playing it here. Energy Crush for 1 Lightning does 50 times the amount of energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. So if you're playing against something like Lugia and they put a lot of energies into play, you just throw down a Magnezone, swing with 1 energy, and it's very, very difficult for them to get to 330 without using something like Cinccino or whatever and expending a lot of resources on that. So that's why Magnezone is really, really good. It's good in a bunch of other matchups too that like to flood energy onto the board. And just an overall really solid attacker. You can also do 220 damage for 2 lightning energy. So it's very easy to power up across a couple of turns, and it's just a nice option to have. So we have the Magnezone. We are rocking a 2-2 line of Bidoof and Bibarel here for the Industrious Incisors ability. That's the main engine of the deck, and honestly, that's kind of just because it's the, most standard draw engine, the best one that we have so far. And now to help accelerate these energies into play, we are playing 1 copy of Joltik with Jolting Charge, where you can search 2 basic Grass and 2 basic Lightning from your deck and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. This is an insanely busted attack, and I only have 1 copy in here, but I think you should put another one in. We're gonna put Joltik right over there, and his evolution, our big pal Galvantula EX, is also present in this deck. So we have a couple of different attackers, but Galvantula is super strong because it's not only a Terra Pokemon, but Charged Web, again, very efficient attack. You do 220 if you're facing off against an EX or V, but also its Fulgurite attack is really, really cool. Because of our sneaky little ace spec, you can actually use it once per, or even twice per game here. And you can item lock your opponent, which can buy you some time, help you set up, so on and so forth. For some other setup cards, we got 1 Lumineon to help us find supporters. We also are playing 1 Miraidon EX in here to help us search out some lightning Pokemon. And we have a Fezandipiti as well, which will act as like our other half of the draw engine if our opponent, for example, KOs a Bibarel. Now for our actual supporter cards, we're playing 4 Arven in this list. 4 Arven is pretty standard, in any deck that likes to reasonably set up. We're also rocking Ionos in here, 3 of them to be specific, 3 Ionos, as well as 1 Briar. Again, Pikachu is a Terra Pokemon, so we can use Briar to offset that prize, the negative prizes that we took thanks to Magneton, and we can make an explosive comeback if we do take 3 prizes on a Charizard, for example. We also have a copy of Boss in here, which will allow us to, bring up any Pokemon that might be sitting on the bench waiting for us to KO them. And then that's it for the supporters. We're on to the items. Very, very simple. We got 4 Nest Balls in here, 4 Buddy Buddy Poffins in here, and 4 Ultra Balls for our search. This is a build that's opting to be ultra consistent, means you want to be able to find your Pokemon whenever you need them. We have lots of search, so you can get that very efficient setup, even though we have pretty thin lines of all our Pokemon. Bossing wise, in terms of our items, Double Counter Catcher is going to be included in the list because we are going to be using Magneton so much. You're going to want to use Counter Catcher to fall behind. And we're also rocking 2 copies of Night Stretcher in here. This lets you put an energy or a Pokemon from your discard pile right onto your hand. And that's really, really good because we're gonna knock out Magneton. If we wanna put back Magnemite, we just grab it with a Night Stretcher. Or if it's Magnemite's in play, we grab the Magneton with the Night Stretcher. Very easy to get these key Pokemon back into the hand instead of having to use a Super Rod. However, we still have one just in case we need to put more energies into play. Now, we also are going to be rocking with a Pal Pad in here. This is so we can reuse Boss, potentially reuse Briar if we ever really needed it, and just to help our overall consistency. In terms of tools, we got a Forest Seal Stone in here. We also have a Rescue Board, which can make it very easy to pivot into a Joltik attack based off of, you know, a single Arven. And then our cheeky little A-Spec, these sparkling crystals. See that shine and shimmer over there? Oh yeah. Sparkling Crystal will let Pikachu attack for only 2 energy, which means you can use Joltik to power up some other Pokemon, and it lets Galvantula use Fulgurite as well in any situation you might need it. Now, the other key card in here is the Gravity Mountain. Gravity Mountain lets stage 2 Pokemon in play get minus 30 HP. While it is counterproductive for using our Magnezone, it's mainly used for Pikachu to take 1-hit KOs on Dragapult, on Charizard, on other decks like that. So we have 2 Gravity Mountains in here because we really are going to be needing those in order to keep up with those insanely strong decks. Energy-wise, we have 4 Lightning, we got 4 Grass, and 3 Metal Energy. And that is the list. Now, overall, this is like a very big concept list. You know, we're really aiming to use this list as a jumping off point to see where exactly we're gonna be able to make improvements, streamline the list, make it more effective, etc., etc. After laying the list in front of you today, I can already tell you that I do think you're gonna need another Joltik in here, just because you really, really wanna use Joltik if you are gonna be going second. And I also think a couple Earthen Vessel could do you good in here as well, because Magneton needs these energies in the discard, and how are you gonna find them if you don't pull off a Joltik for, you know, whatever reason? You'll need a couple Earthen Vessels in here as well. You might not need the Magnezone. It's a good option to have, low commitment, high energy, or high damage output, potentially attacker. However, Galvantula kind of just covers that, covers that a little bit more, and it builds off of the Joltik, which would rather just be sitting there otherwise. So Galvantula can kind of, commit to that same role Magnezone does. Something else you might want to consider including in here, because Pikachu's a basic, you can use the Noctowl engine to actually set this deck up. You might also want to put some Dusknoirs in here, or maybe you want to put an Area Zero. Because Pikachu is a Terra Pokemon, the options are insane over here. You can get a very, very, you can get very crazy with Pikachu. You can really decide how you want this deck to play. It can do however much damage you need it to do. It's figuring out everything else around the deck that makes it a challenge. I'm very much so looking forward to Pikachu EX. This seems like a deck that's gonna be really strong right out the gate. It's gonna just take a couple of pro players to solve it, but I think this is a very solid jumping off point. We have a lot that's going on in here. You could even try to put a Pidgeot line in here if you really wanted to. If you kind of wanted to go the way that Tord did when building Terrapagos, you can kind of build Pikachu the same way. Swap out the Dusknoirs for Magnetons, swap out the Terrapagos for Pikachu, and kind of just copy the rest, and the deck would still function pretty well. You would need to make a lot of cuts other places in order to fit these energies, but you could still build the deck in that way and it would work. However, I like the idea of having Joltik to power us up in the early game, so on and so forth. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this Pikachu EX deck. I worked really hard on this one. I really wanted to make it something that was pretty unique. You probably haven't seen any Pikachu lists so far, so I wanted to kind of be the first on the scene here. Let me know what you think of this list. What would you change? What would you keep? What do you like? What do you not like? Etc. etc. I'm very, very much so looking forward to playing this deck. I could also see, I'm just gonna list off more changes. That's what you get for sticking off to the end. You could also put a Rotom V in here. I can see that being good as well, to just get an insane amount of draw power off that Miraidon. You can use Miraidon to get Pikachu and Rotom. Buddy Puffin can get you Magnemite, and then you can bench, like, you know, you can have your Joltik in play, or if you don't have your Joltik in play, you can use that Rotom, I should say. So there's a lot of different options in here, but I really think sticking with the Joltik is going to be the key in order to make Pikachu succeed. Galvantula is a good backup attacker, as I said. Lots of room to improve this list, but it's a very, very fun one nonetheless. The games I've played with it have been hilariously good. So I just want you to check it out and see what you think. With all that said and done, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, Hitmonchanting out.